Hi everyone, Byron Martin here at Logee's, and today we're going to be talking about some of our flowering plants that we've collected over the last many decades. And when we do that, we are often looking for plant material that can flower under low light conditions. And one of that grouping of plants is the Ixora, or the genus Ixora. And this is often called the Jungle Geranium as a common name. These are tropical shrubs that flower generally under shade or in partial shade freely and bloom over a long period of time. So you get two things: you get low light flowering as well as what we call high mileage in terms of the bloom production. There are many in the trade, and some of these are used as landscaping plants in tropical areas. Very common to see them used as shrubs where they're hedged and trimmed. But not all of them work that well for us, mainly because of the slow growth they produce and also because the flowering cycle is not really very heavy. But we have chosen over the years several of them. The first one being our Ixora javanica. This is a relatively soft-leafed one. Many of them have very stiff leaves, very soft-leafed one, and it blooms almost continuously here in the greenhouses. The orange flowers appear on the tips of the new growth, and as you can see, it's quite brilliant. And it also has a good resistance to root rot. And root rot is a problem, or root diseases are a problem with some of the cultivars, at least in container cultivation here in Connecticut. Another one that we have, which is a really dwarf mini, this is great for windowsill culture, is the Ixora Siam ribbon. And this has these crinkly little leaves and these kind of twisted stems to it with these heads of bright orange flowers that appear mostly through the summertime for us. You probably can get blooming cycles that go on for maybe 7 to 8 months, and then in the wintertime it usually slows down. But a great little plant for limited space. Also, probably could do some bonsai work with it. They hold their leaves under stress. That's the other thing about Ixoras. They do very well under somewhat dry conditions, particularly conditions where, there's a little bit of neglectful watering. They wilt a little bit and they come back quickly. And so for bonsai culture, you want that, something that can take that distress. And lastly, we have our Ixora odorata. Now, this is a relatively large grower. It's just coming into bloom in our summer here in Connecticut, but the flowers are wonderfully fragrant. They put out these large heads of these white blooms. It goes over pretty much throughout the summertime. So gives us long lives. We get probably 4 or 5 months of bloom here. And of course, in tropical areas, it goes on for a longer period of time. As far as culture goes, as I mentioned, the light level can be anywhere from full sun down to partial shade. You want to water the plants when they become dry, visually dry, like most of our container plants. They need, during the growing season, fertilizer, and we fertilize them pretty regularly. They're on our constant feed program here at Logee, so they get fed pretty heavy, which keeps the growth coming on them. They're warm, loving plants, so you want to grow them above 60 degrees, and they can have a few issues with pests, which sometimes aphids on the soft growth. If you have mealybugs, they can get into them. They're not terribly prone to it, but they can get into them. And they also can, if you have plants nearby that have scale, the scale can jump onto them. But if you're free of those, you shouldn't have any insect problems. And as I mentioned, they really have strong root systems, these cultivars, so we don't have too much trouble in terms of root rot with them. And that's about it. It's great plants for long mileage, high flower production in the home, and brilliant color, as well as this one with fragrance. If you'd like more information, visit us at logees.com.